Kick-ass confidence for the woman who wants more passion, power, and personal style. Hello, beautifuls, and welcome back to Kick-ass Confidence. This is Linda. I'm your host and your confidence coach. And I wasn't planning on being on here today and recording. I'm in the office getting through some admin, some work, and taking some one-on-one calls with some amazing clients of mine. But this has just come up so many times that today I'm making some time for it. We've spoken about it before and we're talking about it again, and we will speak about it another time as well because it's very relevant. It's a very prevalent issue that we have to deal with in life, and that is the devastation of divorce. I'm going to be having a short conversation with you just to, one, share my experience, my thoughts, my insights, my feelings on this, because feelings often get squashed in the devastation of this divorce proceeding. And two, to give you a few power tools, a few steps that I think might help you to getting back on your feet. And because everybody is different, but there are a couple of things that we have to do as women that are essential to our healing, to our recovery, and to our strengthening, because there is death and there is life when it comes to divorce. Did you know that every 43 seconds there is a divorce taking place in America? Every 43 seconds, or it's 42 or 43, I don't remember. Every 43 seconds there is a divorce taking place, being filed in America. America actually is the fourth highest country with the fourth highest divorce rate in the world. Russia is at number one. I'm not sure what's going on in Russia, but stuff is going on that Russia is leading the way, and the USA is fourth on the list. Depending on where you go, the stats and the facts actually do align. They might be separated by 2 or 3 or 4%, but having done some research 2 years ago, 6 months ago, a month ago, literally 5 minutes ago, they're pretty much the same. And the scary thing is this, is that 50, and they reckon it's about 53% of all first marriages will end in divorce. 50 to 53%. Then when it comes to second marriages, 60% of second marriages will fail. And hang on, it gets even worse. 73% of third marriages will fail. I would have thought it was the other way around, right? Like, the first one was hard, damn it. It's, we didn't figure it out. The second one, there's some bump and go and come and go, and we figure some stuff out, and maybe things have been smoothed along the way. But I would have thought for sure the third one might have been kind of figured out by then and deciding either I'm just going to stay unmarried or stay single, maybe mingle now and again, but not get married. 73% of third divorces, at least third marriages, end in divorce. That's very interesting. And that obviously doesn't bode well for people going into second, third, never mind fourth marriages. So there's a lot that's going on in terms of the baggage we bring in, the confidence levels, the self-esteem levels. And when two worlds, two people, two hearts, two minds, two visions, two lives collide, a lot takes place. There's a lot that goes down in that kind of time. And so the number one reason why women and men get divorced, the number one reason that they cite is lack of commitment. There's a good 4 or 5 reasons that follow that, but lack of commitment is what eventually they say, this is the reason that I'm getting divorced. Lack of commitment, obviously with this conflict, there's arguing, I'm done, I can't take it anymore. I want to add in there that menopause for sure plays a role. I have not done the current research yet. We're in 2024 right now. I want to do some more research on what role does menopause play? Because I can tell you this, as a woman who's been twice married, the first time when I was divorced, I too was devastated. But it wasn't that long ago that menopause set in on my little life. And I actually said to my husband 3 times in 1 year, I'm done. I want a separation. Of course, there were other very strenuous things going on at the time. 2023 almost ended me. It was a very, very, very traumatic and painful year for me. Thank God it's over. Thank God there are new seasons, every new season. But menopause plays a massive role, but we'll keep that conversation for another time. So lack of commitment. I'm done with arguing. I'm done with the conflict. We just have grown apart. Don't feel like we love each other anymore, or for sure one side is saying that. And it's painful, right? I don't know if you've been divorced. You might be going through a divorce. You might be happily married for 27 years. Wherever you're at, I want to speak to the woman out there who is facing divorce, going through it, or maybe is on the other side of it and is still feeling devastated. And I have so many beautiful clients here in our Linda Page community who are in the same position, either facing it right now, being blindsided by divorce, or are literally going through a painful court proceeding, dragging out by 2-3 years, or they are on the other side of it and they're still devastated and they're still dressing down, blending into the background and just not moving forward. And so if that's you, I wanted to share some things with you in a short period of time that I really hope is going to encourage you, because apart from your faith, perhaps, and apart from mine, the one thing that I have found most powerful and most fruitful when I have been in any kind of trial or challenge or hurdle or heartbreak is eventually we have to take action. Action is the number one thing that I attribute all of the good stuff in my life to. Again, apart from my faith, but you can pray as much as you want. Faith without action is dead, says the good book, right? So action is what propels us forward. So for a minute, I want to talk about death and then life when it comes to divorce, because there is death in divorce, right? There is death of hopes and dreams. There is death of the plans that you made together, maybe about traveling the world, how you're going to raise your kids, then your grandkids. Maybe that bucket list that you put together years ago that is not going to happen anymore. Maybe he goes off and does that bucket list with somebody else. Maybe not. I'm not saying that's the case. I'm just saying there is death to those plans, to that bucket list, to those dreams, those shared visions that once upon a time were very much a part of your day-to-day conversations. There's also death of intimacy. And intimacy does not mean sex. Intimacy can lead to sex. But intimacy, I mean emotionally, right? So that companionship, that the person who knows you better than probably most other people do in the world. In fact, even better than probably your parents or your family or your siblings or your closest friends. That intimacy is something that gets snatched away, and it can feel like a hole in your heart, even if the divorce was the right thing for you. I remember this. Even if getting divorced is or was the right thing, it doesn't take away the pain of that hole in your heart that is left after the devastation of, I feel like a failure. I feel like everything has come crashing to the ground. I feel like I can't breathe. I feel like I remember these feelings. Like I can't lift my head and look the world in the eyes again. Never mind look people in the eyes. I feel like everything that I put my hopes and my trust in is completely shattered into smithereens of pieces all around me, lying on the ground, walking like as if you're walking on broken glass, just hearing the shattering and the breaking and the cracking of the glass under your feet. That's how my heart felt sometimes when my divorce became a reality after a very short marriage. I was with someone for 6 years, on and off, but mostly 6 years, and we were divorced after 4 months. Very shocking, devastating, very painful, and what it does is it demands of you change and new action and a different environment and a different vision for a different future. So that intimacy it dies, it is snatched from you, and you go from suddenly being joined at the hip with someone, with everywhere you go and everything you do and your weekends and your socializing and your careers, to alone. There's a death of that intimacy. There's also a death of finances. So I have always worked my whole life since the age of 17. I'm 52 now. But maybe you haven't. And if you are divorced and suddenly you've got to earn an income, that brings a lot of freaking pressure into your mind, onto your body, into your life. You have to go from perhaps not working for a while or ever maybe to learning not just how to apply for a job and go get the right job and have the skills for it, hopefully, but what to wear, how to dress, to communicate confidence, to actually apply for that position, to have the confidence and the courage and the positive body language and the skills and the right resume and everything else and the personality, and to go and have that interview and hope that it goes well and be recruited, or at least get through to the next round. That's a lot of pressure. Even if you were working, you're now going from 2 incomes, probably, just down to 1. And maybe you've got kids, maybe you've got grandkids. That is more pressure. That brings death to finances. There is a hole that was a bigger money bucket now that is just draining out faster because you're on 1 single income. So there's death to the finances, right? And death to those hopes around those finances that you've been building together, perhaps a nest egg or a big savings account or a huge big vacation you guys have been planning for 4 or 5 years that now is not going to take place because you're down to 1 income, and maybe it will serve you just fine, but it's death to those hopes, death to those finances. So there's a lot of ending when it comes to divorce. I know I'm stating the obvious. I know I'm saying that, but obviously what it also crushes and ends is a lot of women's self-esteem. No matter what the reason for the divorce, most women come out with their self-esteem crashed to the ground. I work with women every single day from all over, and their self-esteem takes a massive knock. I'm talking about bold, beautiful, formerly very self-confident women with high self-esteem. There is a tearing at the heart, a breaking, a parting of the Red Sea that happens when divorce becomes a reality. And so your self-esteem, which is your identity, which is your own self-worth, this is your evaluation of your own self-worth, it drops significantly. No matter how confident you are in who you are and what you do and your position in life or what you've achieved in life, your self-esteem takes a knock. And so that's your value, your personal identity. Then your self-confidence takes a knock as well, because the one is built on the other. Self-confidence, as we've spoken about before, is built upon the rock that is your self-esteem. When the rock feels a bit shaky and it becomes a bit like loose sand, your self-esteem, your self-confidence is going to be shaky as well. So that takes a knock. And then typically with all of these things that happen, the downward spiral, the death of all of these things, guess what happens? What else takes a dive downward and fast? It's your personal presentation. How you present yourself to the woman in the mirror, to the world at large. You start dressing down. You start feeling frumpy. You start feeling ugly. You start avoiding the mirror. You are in your tacky or those old yoga pants and that college t-shirt, and you duck in and out of the grocery store once a week, hoping that nobody recognizes you, that you don't bump into anybody that you know. You avoid the telephone, you avoid people, you start withdrawing from life, from social occasions, although you're feeling really lonely and depressed. You make up excuses why you don't go to those events or those occasions. You're saying no to invitations when actually you wish you had the confidence and the courage to say yes, but you just can't face these things right now. Maybe it's been a month, maybe it's been 6 months, maybe it's been 5 years or 7 years. Friend, I'm here to tell you, there is life after the death of divorce. There is light in your future. There is love in your future. And maybe it's romantic love, maybe it's not, but I can tell you this. As somebody who's been very hurt by men, I mean physically abused, sexually abused, emotionally abused, since I was a little girl at the age of 4, right up through well into my adulthood, I can tell you that there are good men out there. That if you are in a position where you don't want to be alone, and you have been for a while after divorce, number one, there are good men out there. I know them, I've met them. We are not in a world where there are 7 good women to 1 good guy. That is not the case. But we're not talking about that right now. And you're so welcome to join us at school.com, skool.com. Look for Linda Page at school.com and join our free community where we talk about these things. Because yes, it's about the power of personal style and confidence and self-esteem, but it's about beauty from the inside out. And there are conversations we are needing to have because people are not talking enough about these things. So I want to give you a couple of things that I wish I had done differently when I got divorced. I was young. I was 26 years old. 26. And had I known then what I know now, of course, hindsight is wonderful, right? But I've started applying these things some years later because if you're a woman of any kind of faith, and we all have a different faith, right? Maybe you're agnostic, maybe you're atheist, maybe you're Christian, maybe you are hula hoop. I don't know. It doesn't matter. If you are a woman of faith, especially typically Christian women, Catholic women, we have this tendency through grooming and through training, religious training, which is not the same as faith. Then we're told that, good Christian women will just speak life and don't speak death. And, God has a plan for your future. And Jeremiah 29:11. And, there is hope and all of those things, which is true. But here's what we forget to do. We forget to feel our feels. And that's step number one that I want to share with you. It is a power tool that I wish I knew years ago. We tend to squash our feelings, we push them down because guess what? Life must go on, right? There's a lot to do. We wear different hats. Maybe you're a mom, you work, you have co-workers, you've got commitments to your office, your business, your kids, your grandkids, your family, your church, your community. You have different hats you have to wear, and you've got different roles you have to fulfill and different obligations you need to meet. And so we just, life must go on. Dust yourself off, pucker up and chin up and soldier on. No, that is dangerous. That causes cancer. That causes bitterness and resentment. And that causes wrinkles, my dear. So let's take a step back. You've got to feel your feels. Power tool number one. You've got to feel your feels. Your feelings. I always like to humanize things and visualize so that I can just get to grips with things. Your feelings are like little people inside of you, like the little mini you, right? They all have different color. In fact, I watched with my little girl, what is it called? Inside Out. The second movie, Inside Out 2, is coming out. And the emotion, I think, in Inside Out was sad. Sadness had to feel sad. Sad's job is to feel sad. Happy's job is to feel happy. And so anyway, if you haven't caught the first one, Inside Out 1 and 2, we are now in June 24. I think Inside Out 2 is coming out, or it's out. And my little girl loved it because I've taught her for years. How you feel is legitimate. It doesn't mean that that's how you're going to act. Because remember, going back to faith, it says, do not be afraid. It doesn't say don't feel afraid. This is so very important. It doesn't say don't feel afraid. Be is the action word. Be is the, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to be. But I feel afraid. I feel sad. I feel mad. I feel disappointed. I feel crushed. You have to feel the feels. You must give yourself that time. It's not a luxury. It's a right. It's an absolute entitlement that you go like, this is how I feel. Everybody has feelings. Feelings are normal. It doesn't mean that you act sad for 7 years. It doesn't mean that you act mad for 20, because I also work with some women who, and that's why I love what I do, is let go, girl. Just come on, man, let it go. It's been 19 years, okay? And you can't keep speaking about your ex-husband the way that you do, because then guess what? You haven't forgiven. And forgiveness is not saying that what he did is okay. Forgiveness is for you. You know this by now. You know this by now. But don't go from zero to hero on death and divorce and destruction and devastation and antidepressants to, I'm forgiven, I'm moving on, and here we go, it's all good, here's my plan for my future. No. Number one, feel your feels. Write them down if you need to. Put some music on and have a glass of wine or coffee, or go for a long walk, or go on a hike on a beautiful day and just feel your feels. Write them down, get them out. Or if you have a process that works for you, maybe you burn the paper afterward, whatever it is, right? Everyone's got different little rituals. Feel your feels. Even acknowledge them. I would suggest doing it without a glass of wine if you really want to get your grips with things. And I've got nothing against a glass of wine when you're feeling a bit sad. But feel your feels. Do it over a coffee. Do it over some tea. Do it hiking. Acknowledge every single one of them. Every single one of them. Number 2 is grief recovery. And this is in no certain order, okay? So grief recovery is something that is really important. It's different to counseling, okay? So counseling and coaching are different. I'm not saying that counseling doesn't have its place. I've actually, when I was 27 years old, in fact, I was 25 when I divorced. I was 27 years old. And I met with my first counselor in Johannesburg in South Africa. Her name was Jenny, and boy, did she help me. Boy, did she open Pandora's box, and that's what was necessary. Otherwise, I don't know what would have happened to me. I might have died young. I don't know. I had a lot to deal with and a lot of grief that had to be unpacked and addressed, and I had a lot of recovery ahead of me. Had I known the road I was going to take ahead of me, would I have done it? Hell no. Am I glad I did? Hell yes. This is why I'm here and why I do what I do. Grief recovery is essential. Counseling definitely has its place, and I'm so grateful for Jenny and a couple of others in my life. But coaching is different. And this is what grief recovery does as well. Coaching is about ownership and the role that you played in it, the decisions that you made along the way that also contributed to the problem, to the grief, to the trauma, to the hurdle, to the heartbreak. And so ownership is so powerful, because without ownership, you'll always feel like a victim. You'll always complain about your ex-husband. You'll speak about him in the same vein 25 years later. That just is confirmation, once again, that you haven't forgiven and that you are a victim, and he still holds the power. You've been divorced for how long, man? Come on, let it go. Grief recovery is going to help you to map out a timeline, a lifeline of the things that you need to face, address, feel, grieve, and move on from. Do you ever completely get over something? Probably not, depending on the severity of it, the intensity of it. But for sure, you can heal from it, strengthen after it, and move forward into the life and the light that is in your future. That is a fact. It's yours to create. It's yours to go after. So grief recovery specialists are all over the world. If you're interested in who we work with, and I've got someone in my life that I refer my friends and clients to, school.com, or go to lindapage.com and connect with us. Follow us on social media. Catch us on YouTube. But school.com is free. It's skool.com. It's free, and we talk about these things, and it's about taking action. Okay, so that's grief recovery. As you do that, point number 3 is, as you take action to doing something, and again, this is not in this sequential order, you will find high value and immense power in surrounding yourself with like-minded people. Your community is essential to your healing and to you moving forward. So if you're hanging out with the bitchy, angry, depressed, bitter, unforgiving divorcee club, where you guys get together and that's your so-called book club, and you sit and whine and complain and blame, listen, that's who you are, then that's who you've become, and you will not move forward. And that is such a waste of a life. It's such a waste of the gift of the breath that you wake up with every single day. Do not hang out with people who are blamers and complainers and are still referring to their divorce and their beep, beep, beep ex-husband and his beep, beep new wife. And don't do that. Don't do that. Get into an environment, and I'm going to give you a couple more tools, where you will find yourself surrounded by like-minded women and men who are on a powerful path to continually investing in themselves and strengthening themselves and going from bold to brave to courageous to doing things that is propelling them forward rather than keeping them bound and chained and held back to their past. And how you do that is you've got to take action. You've got to take action in a physical way. And here is a great thing for you to do. Set yourself a physical goal. And I do mean physical through a fitness/health kind of challenge, okay? Whether it is a 5K run, whether it is a Tough Mudder event, whether it is a short marathon, whatever it is, you want to set yourself a physical goal because you know that you can handle pain. You know that you can do hard things. But let me give you a quick story about an incredible woman that I don't know very well, but she's actually, she doesn't live too far from me here in South Africa. And just yesterday, we had this conversation, a short conversation about grief recovery, and it keeps coming up. But here's what I learned from her, which really surprised and just empowered me on a different level, something that I feel like I need to do for myself again soon for various reasons. So when it comes to setting a physical goal, it is a physical outworking of the pain inside of you, right? Let me tell you about this woman. Her name is Jean-Marie Stander. Beautiful woman. I mean, listen, I'm talking drop dead gorgeous, okay? I hope she said thanks to her mom and dad, because the girl is stunning. I think she's 33, 34 years old, married to an awesome guy who is a professional Springbok rugby player, CJ Stander, and they've got this cute little blondie. But she used to, I don't know much of her background. I know that she used to love swimming. I'm also not sure to what, because she got to a professional level with swimming, I believe. Her brother, Rake Nettling, is actually an Olympic swimming champion. And so you can go and check them out online. But Jean-Marie, I don't follow her on social media. I don't follow anybody on social media. I might click or connect or something every now and again with people that I find I've had interesting conversations with, okay? But stick with me on this one for a minute. I'm getting there. And so I saw somehow her thing popped up on Instagram before I was following her. And somehow it popped up on my Instagram one weekend recently. And she was running, and she had a statement there about grief recovery and how it helped her. Now, why she said that is very tragically, I mean, my heart broke for this family. So they've got, there are 3 kids, grown adults, the mother and the father, and her older sister had been ill for a long time, so that the day was imminent. It was going to come that she was going to pass away, and it wasn't too long ago. I don't know when it was. I stand corrected on the date, so I'm not going to say it. But all of that to say that she lost her sister recently. And what a devastating, I can't imagine losing one of my sisters. What a devastating, crushing blow to life. And you don't just go through that blow once. It's her birthday soon, I'm sure, sometime. Christmases, holidays, their kids, family events, all kinds of things, what they used to do, and memories and reminders of things. This is a constant facing the loss of someone that you really, really loved. And so something drew me into this one Instagram post that I saw of Jean-Marie's. And I love what I read there, but I didn't fully understand it. She was talking about how once, she used to enjoy swimming, but how running now has become really something important for her, and it's helped her with grief recovery. So now I thought, okay, well, running, I've tried it several times in life, okay? It's hard. It's not easy to go from zero to just becoming a really good runner. This girl flies like the wind, okay? She freaking flies. I've seen her videos. She's phenomenal. But I thought to myself, it must be the pounding out, right? Like the pounding out, like running till you can't run anymore. Like you run yourself ragged. You run the physical, the hurt in your heart, you run it out, right? But so I was very fortunate to, I enrolled my little girl in some swimming lessons recently, and she happens to run the academy that runs it. Her and her amazing mom, Sunmarie, love her mom, love them both, but her mom is just beautiful. She's just a wonderful woman. And so they run this swimming coaching program for kids, and I'm loving that my little girl is just getting stronger and more confident in the water. The water is her happy place, but she needed a lot of help with form and so on. And so I had the good fortune of running into Jean-Marie, I think it was yesterday or even the day before, and I said, hey, could I just ask you a question about that Instagram post, and I got to tell you this, I'm always wary of approaching people that are in the public eye, because number one, yes, if you're out there, sure, the public wants to access you. But number two, come on, they're people. And if you live in a similar place and you've got a pretty famous brother who's an athlete as well, and oh my gosh, he's just as good looking as his sister. It's ridiculous, these genes. I hope he also said thank you to his father and his mother. And I saw a picture of the older sister, absolutely beautiful as well, just gorgeous. And so I thought, is it the pounding out, right? I asked her a question. Is it the pounding out of the running and everything? And she said, it obviously it helps, but she said she set herself a goal. And the goal was to run this 10K race. I think she might have done a 5K, but then she did a 10K, okay? And she passed out. She overexerted herself. It was a hot day, and she literally fainted, whether it was at the end or just after the end. She passed out. Now, she obviously has a great support system and friends and family, and guess what they did? They encouraged her to set another goal. So my first thought was, okay, well, probably a 5K would make more more sense, right? Like, I get it. You fall off the horse, you get up again, especially during this tough time, and then just set yourself another goal. No, not a 5K. She ran a 10K and then set herself a goal for a 21K, where she also proceeded to run that and passed out again. But here's what really intrigued me. She set herself a harder goal than the first goal, which was already damn hard, which she pushed herself on, and I have no doubt did really well in. I mean, this is a champion mindset family, one that I really want to go and research just as a private project to share with my clients in my coaching program another time. But this is a champion mindset woman, and she passes out. It's physically, emotionally, mentally, probably spiritually, on every level, painful what she's going through. And she goes from a 10K, takes it up to a 21K. So instantly I got it. Instantly I thought, now that's genius. Now that's really clever. Because we can do hard things. And when we get really hurt, especially once or twice, we do tend to dial it down a little bit. This girl dialed it up. I was so inspired. I haven't stopped thinking about it for 24 hours. I was so inspired by that one thing that she did that I am sharing it in my live event in Dallas, which is in a week's time. There's still time, by the way. lindapage.com, 21-22 June 2024. If you are ready for change, if you want to learn self-confidence, self-esteem, the power of personal style, downtown Dallas at the Marriott Hotel is where we're going to be, 21-22 June. There are still some tickets left. lindapage.com. Go. But back to Jean-Marie. I got it. She dialed it up. She pushed herself further because something inside of her told her, I can do harder, I can take more pain, and I have to do this to work this stuff out. And she's got a quote that I got her permission to borrow, her own quote on this post about running and grief recovery. I love this final sentence of hers, so I want to make sure I get it right, where she says, as she's running, here it is, I shed the weight of my thoughts. Like, that actually makes me quite emotional, actually. Because what do we think about when we're running and exercising? We think about shedding weight, right? And she says, I shed the weight of my own thoughts. And I'm paraphrasing, I could have got a word or two wrong. I shed the weight of my own thoughts. I found that very, very powerful. And I know I'm going to do something with this for myself going forward. And I'm sharing it with my clients and all of those beautiful women coming to that event. And I'm sharing it here with you, that you have got to set yourself a physical goal. Let's take a leaf out of the book of Jean-Marie, who is facing the very recent loss of her beautiful sister, and step up to the plate and dial it up a little bit. Whatever it is for you, whether it's a marathon, whether it's a physical event, whether it's a cross-country thing, whether it's physically getting on that horse of yours that you haven't wanted to ride, whether it's saying yes to whatever it is. And you don't have to do it alone. Get a hold of a friend or someone at church, or put a thing out there and say, I'm doing this, then it's wide open to 10 people joining me. Raise some money for charity. But I know the feeling that comes with doing something physical, raising money for it. I raised some money for our local community a couple of years ago when I broke the Guinness World Record for the most bungee jumps in 1 hour. And is it hard? Damn straight it's hard. Was it tough? Oh my gosh, vomiting upside down in midair was a whole new experience. But I did it for a reason. I was going through something and I needed to restore some self-confidence in myself. And man, did it work. And man, did I feel the pain. And man, was I proud of myself. And there's my biggest gold trophy right on my desk from my husband. And there is the Guinness World Record certificate on my office wall that I see every day. Push yourself, dial it up. And you will find an outworking of the pain, a physical, because that's what our bodies can do, is be physical with the outworking of pain that you are carrying from the devastation of your divorce or the loss of something else, the death of something or someone else. We all lose someone and something in life. It is just the deal that we get offered in exchange for the breath of life we get given every single morning, the opportunities, the amazing people, the abundance that we get gifted, that we can create as lovers and nurturers and builders and creators of our own hands. That's the deal. You can be in an amazing community. It's not going to mean that you are never going to get hurt again, but it does mean that you're going to be in a like-minded community And this is what Jean-Marie says. She also has met very like-minded people where she has made some amazing connections with people who are having similar experiences. It's very powerful. Our environment is everything. It's really important. Who we hang out with has a direct influence on the lives that we live, on how we raise our kids, on the words that come out of our mouths. And so remember again, you get to feel your feels. Maybe you take Jean-Marie's example and maybe you decide right now today, you're going to sign up for a 5K or that park run or whatever it is. Do it today. Put me on pause right now if you need to. Put me on pause and decide, what is it that I'm going to do? Choose something physical that is going to push you. And if you did it in a breeze and you do the 5K, then you better be setting yourself the next challenge. From the 10, it doesn't have to be the 10 to the 21, but it needs to be harder. Or if you get to that thing and you want to throw up and it was a 5K, that's okay. I'm not this natural runner either. I've done a couple of 5Ks. It was hard for me. It was hard. Doing 23 bungee jumps in 1 hour off one of the highest bridges in the world is easier. It's a different kind of physical thing. Running is hard. Go and do the hard thing. Choose something hard. And if you're walking right now or you're in the car and you finish this or put it on pause and make sure when it's safe to stop, or when you get to the office or you get home, make sure that you choose something. A physical goal. It is very, very, very powerful. And the last tool I wanted to give you is vision. That becomes your first step toward a vision, friend. Then you have a vision. What's my vision? I'm going to run a 5K. Okay, great. That is a great vision. That's good for your health. It's good for your skin. It's good for your mind. It's good for your body. It's good for everything. Plus, you'll probably go on, like Jean-Marie has and others, to inspire others to do the same. So you're not just restoring your self-esteem and rebuilding your self-confidence. You're actually expanding your influence and inspiring others to go and do the same. It's very powerful. It's very beautiful. And as you do it, you may just start shedding weight if you have any weight to shed, or you're going to be toning up, or you're going to be, because this is what happened. Jean-Marie said to me, the 10K was great, yeah, but when she did the 21, the bug bit. She got bitten by that running bug, and this chick flies now, let me tell you. She's a runner, and just watching her run on a few videos, I'm like, oh, I want to run. It just makes me want to run, just watching her. Maybe it's running for you, maybe it's something else, but you must choose something, and you must choose it today. Every day is Tuesday, my friend. Choose something today that is going to be your physical challenge and will be the outworking of that pain that is still in your heart, that is from the past, still has you bound and chained. Run, move forward, do something physical, choose something today. There is so much light in life and love in your future, but you have to take a step forward to it. It is not going to land in your lap and say, hello, okay, here I am, here we are life, love, and light, and we're come to pick you up. No, it doesn't work like that. I don't think it would be fun if it did, actually. You get to experience pain in life. It makes you better. It makes you stronger. And you know what? It makes you more beautiful. So on the topic here of self-confidence through personal style, at the same time, the last tool I'm going to give you is wear something damn fashion forward to that physical thing. Wear your hot pink pants and your striped knee-high socks and a cute, whatever it is that you want to wear. Get up, dress up, and go to that physical challenge like a freaking boss. Go and take charge. Go and take back control and power of your life. You have the power. It's in you. You're just sitting with it right now. There are people and opportunities in your future that are waiting to meet you. That is a fact. That is the biblical gospel truth. There are Jean-Maries in your life, way across the oceans from where I am right now, who you will meet when you get up and you go out there and be inspired by them, connect with them. They too were once where you are today, devastated, crushed by something, but they're moving forward. They're running, they're jogging. You don't even have to run. You can walk. You don't even have to fly. You can jog, you can go slow, go at your own pace, but you must move forward. Open your heart and open your mind today to the people and the opportunities and the future that is waiting to meet you. That is where I'm going to leave it, beautiful. That's where I'm going to wrap up today. And do not forget to get up, dress up, and to rock up to that event looking like a badass, looking kick-ass confident, because you are beautiful. You have a spirit of power. You have a spirit of courage, of adventure, and of beauty. So be your badass, beautiful self. Go and dress up. And if you are anything like me, wear some hot pink or some red lipstick to that thing as well. Let me tell you something. Color energizes you. Join us at school.com or lindapage.com for more conversations around how to restore your self-esteem, rebuild your self-confidence, and learn how to build a beautiful wardrobe on a budget that is customized to your body shape, your lifestyle, and your profession, and that physical challenge that you're going to set for yourself. I love you and I leave you. Thank you for joining me today. Wherever you are in the proceedings of divorce, early, middle, or after, you're not alone. You're never alone. Join us at lindapage.com. Thank you for being here. You go out there and be kick-ass confident. Kick-ass confidence for the woman who wants more passion, power, and personal style.